Hi, Heather.
Hi, Dan.
It's Helsinki Day.
It is.
476 years.
Young. How are you feeling for a 476th birthday?
Pretty lively. Sprightly, some might say.
The city of Helsinki put on a heap of events, most of them free, different times of the day that you can go and participate.
Several of them are things you couldn't normally do. They open up some special spaces each year, don't they?
They do, yes.
So the one thing that is quite traditional, it seems, for a lot of the older generation of Finns, is to start the day with the mayor's coffee morning.
Yes.
And we had the pleasure of meeting a couple of people who have been doing it for several years already.
We did. So we met Arto and Outi. There was no queue. For Finns, it was very unusual. There was no, normally there's a line, but there was no queue. There's
normally
opened.
Several wonky lines, not necessarily a line.
This wasn't even wonky lines. This was just a mass of people.
If there had been buckets, it would have been busier.
Yes. Although, I don't know where all the people came, because once we were inside, all of a sudden, it felt quite full.
I think everybody aimed for 8:30, knowing that he was going to speak at 9.
Yeah.
Obviously, people who have been there before know more how it works. It was our first one. So.
True. Yeah. So, Dan and I divided and conquered. So I grabbed a table and then followed Dan to the coffee pot. Whereas Dan had gone straight for the coffee and cake.
No, I went straight for the cake. I got coffee after you in the end.
We came back to the table, and there were a couple of the previously mentioned Arto and Outi were already sitting at the table. I said, "Hyvä Helsinki päivä," and then we sat down.
And very shyly, like normal, they just nodded and didn't say much.
Yeah, they did ask to make sure that we hadn't reserved any more than 2 seats. And no, you're good, you can stay. And Dan and I are chatting, and then very, very hesitantly, Outi offered advice that we could go upstairs, because we were wondering, could we get upstairs? Which is, yep, the stairs, and you can check out the balcony and everything. And after that ensued a very lively conversation about Helsinki Day, bears in the forest. So Arto's Instagram is full of bears in the forest and foxes and all sorts of wildlife.
At his summer cabin. In Suonenjoki, where my wife's family are from.
And Outi is graduating today.
Yes,
so
congratulations to her.
I think that's a phenomenal achievement.
So congratulations to her.
Yeah, so quite an achievement.
I think we've booked meeting them again next year when we come.
Definitely, yes.
I mean, you've been there before. What did you think of the town hall?
So I've been there before for an event. The downstairs area it's a coat check bathroom spot.
Yes.
I mean, there were some nice pictures up, and there was some music happening, and the chairs were laid out so we could all listen to the mayor.
He didn't have a lot to say.
No, it was very concise.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because I do get quite bored if it goes on and on and on.
It didn't help that the sound wasn't the best, and there was some hoots. Hecklers, that's the word I'm thinking of, up the back.
I didn't expect hecklers at this time of day. I could expect it a bit later when people have had a few drinks around the city, but 9 o'clock in the morning's a bit early.
It's not something you're expecting. He talked a little bit about the events that are happening, but also what is happening in Helsinki this year. So some stage in autumn, the population will go over 700,000, which is quite an achievement, because when I moved to Helsinki, it was about 500,000. Yeah. I was pleased that you could go back and get a second cup of coffee.
I was offered a second piece of cake as well.
And
I was so well behaved, and I turned it down. So, yeah, we had a wander around. The stairs took us all the way up to the 3rd floor. It felt like we were walking to the 13th. There were a lot of stairs.
Yeah, yes.
There's some impressive rooms up there. There's a lot of gold leaf. A lot of gold leaf.
Not as much as in the White House, though.
I haven't been to the White House, and I don't plan to go during this 4-year term.
But you must have seen the pictures. I mean, the pictures, it's dazzling.
Well, he's knocked down the ballroom, so that's half the gold leaf gone. Anyway,
enough of that.
This town hall, there was some impressive rooms and some less. It seems very modern. And in my hometown, when you walk into the town hall, you're greeted with this grand staircase which splits off both sides, and all the rooms are elegant and very old-fashioned. This has been modernised, and I don't like it.
Even in its origin, it was a hotel. It was never built as a town hall.
I didn't know that.
Okay. This was one of the original Seurahuone hotels. So Seurahuone are one of the...
I'd know that if we'd done this area, wouldn't I?
Yes, you would. But we haven't done this area yet. So, yeah, Seurahuone were the developers of the hotel, for want of a better word. So it was never It was never built as a town hall as such.
So, is this the back of the town hall, or is it a separate?
No, there's actually inside here. There's a courtyard.
Okay.
So this whole market quarter, the houses
are all built around
the courtyard. In the old-fashioned way. Yeah.
Okay. It was an impressive building, but it just felt too modern for me for a town hall. Yeah. I'm English. I'm quite old-fashioned in that respect. When you visit a town hall, you think grand, old, especially with the mention of 476 years and that kind of thing. I was thinking, this is not a 476-year-old room.
I mean, there's very little from the original Helsinki.
So, we have just been to the House of
Estates.
Explain what the House of Estates is to the listeners, Heather.
So, the House of Estates is part of the Finnish state, I guess. Prime Minister's office is the department, the area that is looking after it. It's where Prime Minister hosts events. It's also where, whenever it's time to negotiate who will be leading Finland next, it's where they meet. During COVID, when we saw the ministers all standing in front of the tables, that was where they were meeting. That's House of Estates. But it was originally built when we were a part of Russia.
Yes, it's a much grander building than Finns would build.
Well, Finns did build it.
Yes, but I mean, it's not a Finnish architectural style.
True.
It's too grand and...
I mean, they look to Europe for their inspirations.
So when you walk in, you're greeted with bag search first, and then you get to the grand entrance where there's the stairs up. Who made the statue that we saw at the top of the stairs, Heather?
Who made the statue? Oh, I should know this. They just told us. Runeberg's son made the statue.
Walter Runeberg.
Walter Runeberg, yes.
Yes, who we saw when we did our previous episode. We weren't allowed to see as much as I was hoping. For an hour and 15 minutes of waiting, seeing 4 rooms was...
Oh, but they were quite... I mean, we saw the room, So in Finnish it's talonpoika, so the peasants, houseboy, but actually the English translation there was House of the Peasants or Room of the Peasants. We saw the room of the bourgeois, we saw the room of the priests, and we saw the dining room.
Right, I didn't get what the rooms were because it was all in Finnish.
Vault driving past, not inside the House of Estates, of course.
Although I'm sure they visited and delivered pizzas there.
No, possibly. It was actually very nice standing on the staircase where when Parliament is finally, or when the government is finally selected, where all the ministers stand with the Prime Minister. That was kind of cool. I will never get to do that again in my lifetime, I don't think. So
I don't see why you would need to. You've done it once.
Done it once. Been there, done that.
You're not going to stand for the next Parliament then?
No.
The Cultural Hell Party?
The Cultural Hell Party has a good ring to it, but no.
It was interesting. The queue has got slightly longer since we got in there, but it was about an hour and 15, wasn't it?
Yeah. When we were in the queue, we saw people coming out and most of them had some sort of bag. What's going on? Is there a giveaway? There is a giveaway, or there was. I mean, by the time this comes out, it would have been in the past. The book storage is undergoing a renovation, so all of the books that they want to get rid of. So we picked up a few copies of Finland 100 Years. So I have a Finnish version and then an English version as well.
They're both very different. The Finnish version is a picture book about the history of Helsinki and Finland, and the other one is stats and statistics from the last 100 years. That's the bit that I'm going to love.
I'm actually quite interested with the stats and the numbers because it'll be fun facts for my guests in the future.
I feel sorry for them because you're just going to start quoting hundreds of random facts.
No. But I'm sure I can find something to spice the tour up. Dan, how are you feeling?
I was just going to do our socials, actually.
A little bit out of breath after that quite steep walk out of the population protection cave. How many people fit in the...
1,000.
1,000, yeah.
That's a lot of people to share a space with when there was 3 toilets, and if somebody does a stinker, then...
Okay, so I'll correct you on the number of toilets. That is just an example to show
So you're going to get 1,000 toilets?
You don't get 1,000 toilets, but they'll the area is usually split into house area, so that I think each house has its own set of toilets. So maybe there's three. So
Right.
you're not sharing 3 toilets with 1,000 people. You might be sharing 3 toilets with
100 people.
100 people,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. I didn't like the decor. I thought they could have made more of an effort to paint the walls a nicer colour. And
Actually, it
did seem very clean.
It was very clean. It's white. It's bright. The Helsinki one, it's a car park, and so the walls are grey and dusty, and yeah, it has none of the niceness of this particular space.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see the other areas that would be part of it, so there'll be a control room of some sort where they keep an eye on the water. There will be a water, not the people. There will be a water tank somewhere also where they're keeping like the water, some drinkable water. There was a nice display of all the things that you should take with you. We will put that up, yes. We got to speak to, now what's his name?
Matti
Vaitanen, who has written a heap of books specialising in safety for children, but his most recent book is all about the importance of the population protection caves.
They are nuclear fallout shelters, essentially, aren't they?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Although chemical fires, we can use them for that as well. So if there's some nasty chemical things happening, then that's a purpose for them as well.
Except that the chemical toilets will already be in there.
Actually, they're not chemical toilets, it's a drop toilet.
Okay.
Yeah. He was a really interesting guy to chat to, so he's...
Well, only because he's lived in Australia, Heather.
But not just that. He had a very, his expertise in the area is certainly quite... He ran the education department for Helsinki Rescue for 20 plus years.
Yeah, that's quite impressive.
That is he does know his stuff.
Yeah.
So that was very nice to hear that.
It's very steep getting in and out.
Yeah,
I didn't notice quite so much on the way in, but certainly on the way back out it
it's
felt
quite
like
steep.
it. But obviously being embedded in the bedrock is important.
Yeah.
For people listening to this who do live in Finland, definitely worth checking out where your local
where your local shelter is, whether it's in your own house or whether it's in the neighbourhood. You should also familiarise yourself with your house emergency plan. So every house has its own emergency plan which nominates where you're supposed to meet. So you'll have a central gathering spot. And maybe just chat to your kids about, we should have a bag of goodies that we can take with us, including some drinking water. You can't take too much because space is limited, but certainly if your kids have a special diet, then you should have some food for them. Check also the rules of your shelter, if you can take a chair or not. Pets are not allowed, unfortunately.
No, it's quite eye-opening. I mean, there were people to talk to and sort of tell us more about the shelter. I know it's a bit of a morbid thought, but it is important in these times.
I find it practical. I don't find it morbid at all.
Yeah, I guess it depends.
Certainly one of the examples he gave that people don't always understand what is expected. So his house, he is the person in charge of clearing out and making the space ready, and some of his neighbours misunderstood the instruction and so started getting ready for actually moving into the emergency shelter, which you only have to do that if the emergency signal is sounded, and if you're not sure how it sounds, listen.
First Monday of every month at midday.
Absolutely, yes. We are standing here in a space called Stogis.
Meilahden tilajakamo is the whole name.
Yes. Okay, Stogis is easier to say.
Stogis is the nickname.
And I am with Elli Maanpa, which is a little bit of a mouthful for me. Elli, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Elli. I'm a visual artist, I'm a painter, but I'm also an illustrator, an author of a kids book, and I create art here in my studio.
This is your studio, this is your workspace?
Yes.
Yep. So this is as workspaces go. It's really bright and light, and
as are the pictures.
As are the pictures.
You're
yes.
You like your bright aesthetic.
I do.
It's almost contrast with a lot of Finnish art in a way.
It is. It is a very big contrast, and sometimes I create conflict by being this bright because it doesn't fit the narrative of Finnish visual culture all the time. But we need the brightness as well.
Do you find that means you have more success selling things abroad then?
Well, actually, I've sold very well in Finland.
Okay.
I have sold internationally as well, but in Finland, I think people need this brightness.
Especially in winter.
Especially in winter. Especially in like October when it's completely grey, dark and rainy, and you need the light. So yeah, I found quite a nice following for my art in Finland as well.
How long have you been A, painting, and B, here?
Painting I've been my whole life, but now like professionally from 2019, so 7 years. And here in this studio I've been 2 years. No, actually just 1 year. Like other people have been in this building for 2 years, but I just moved last spring.
Okay.
How's the community here? Because obviously having so many artists under one roof might be quite influential.
It's so nice. Actually, the place where I moved from was like my own soul. Like I had this cornerstone in Töölö, and it was really nice, but I felt like quite unsafe there. And then I felt like I need the community again. And then there was this room available, and I came to check it, and I was like, yes, I want here. And then it has come as like a bonus, like this whole group of new friends. Because as adults, you don't get friends so easily.
Yeah.
So when you are with like-minded people organizing events like this Helsinki Day, then you kind of get to know them in such a way that you actually make friends, not just acquaintances.
Not work colleagues that sort of you come,
At what stage did you find your colour palette? Because obviously, as we said, it's unusual for a Finn to be this colourful.
Well, actually 5-6 years ago, I was like reading Marie Kondo book, like about minimalizing your life.
I've read that book.
And then I was like, how could I do that also in my like art space and in my art practice? And I decided to go through all my colors, all my paints I used at time, and only leave the ones that spark joy the most.
Fantastic.
So then that left me with 6 colors, and with those 6 colors I can create rainbow of colors, but also they will always fit together. You can see around like in some paintings I have darker tones, but it's still the same color, so that's why it will always fit together. So, for example, that exhibition that I just put to the next room, I made it in like 1 hour because I could just pick paintings and just that they work together.
Yeah. It's very harmonious.
Yeah,
it's a nice space.
And I like that. Maybe it also shows that my first degree was in design, so it's really important to me to have this kind of nice color schemes. I always pick the nice color outfits that people have, like you have on, and it's important to me.
I did look round the corner as we walked further up the corridor, thank you, and think, oh, you look like your artwork. You're wearing your colours.
Yes, exactly. That's not the first time I've heard that. And I've also been said, like, I look like my paintings, and that's not always like what I mean to paint myself, but of course I take that as a compliment, that it means that I'm multiplying myself when I'm painting, when I'm creating my art.
In your artwork,
exactly.
I want to sort of ask about Helsinki Day and about how you feel about Helsinki Day and what this day means to you as an artist and people being able to come who may not usually see your artwork.
Yeah. Actually, I've been quite surprised that now that I've been like saying to people that we have this big Helsinki Day event, people don't even have heard about this Helsinki Day. It's like the concept is not at all as known as Taiteiden, the night of the arts that is in August.
Everybody knows about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what I've said, like Helsinki Päivä is like that, but it's on the day.
It's going into the night as well.
It's going night.
And I would say Helsinki Day, the type of events is much more broader.
Yeah.
I mean, we started the day with the mayor's coffee and cake, and then we went to House of Estates. We've been in a fallout. It's in that way, it's nice that there are places that people can visit that they wouldn't ordinarily visit.
This is the first time I've been out and about for Helsinki Day because I'm a musician. I always do Night of the Arts.
Yeah.
But I've not ventured out for this. But certainly after this year, I'll be going every year.
Yeah, exactly. I actually know about Helsinki Day because I used to work in the Virka-galleria, which was like the gallery in the...
Is that in Town Hall?
Town Hall.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was there, but it was like 15 years ago. So we had Helsinki Day events there. So I heard about it.
If you're not looking out for
you might miss it.
Yeah, I think we really need to spread the word.
Night of the Arts, August. So will you be doing anything for the Night of the Arts?
For sure, here in Stogis, there will be again, like there was last Night of the Arts, there was a big event. There was a lot of open studios, more than today. Okay. And next year, for sure, as well.
Okay, so we've just been to...
Stogis.
It's a very large art space, communal art space.
Communal art space with... Painting was up on the top level, and then the second floor down, or number 5, was fabrics and weaving.
Sure I think that was just the ones that were open today. I'm not sure it's that strict. But we spoke to...
Elli Maanpa.
Really, really bright pictures. Really, really like her work.
Yes. There is another Finnish artist whose work hers reminds me of, and I can't think of her name, and it's not important, but she's not the only one that paints in this style, but certainly
it's a rarity.
It's a rarity, definitely.
Yeah.
It's a small niche.
I love the fact that she uncluttered her art box as much as she uncluttered her life. I think that's fantastic.
The space didn't look very uncluttered. So...
but that was most of it was artwork, though, wasn't
True,
it? I mean,
most of it was artwork.
It wasn't piles of junk.
Yes.
It was organised chaos, which I think an artist has to have.
Yes, chaos was definitely a part of it.
We did pop in and have a quick look at the rugs.
Yes, yeah.
Less inspiring than the lady we saw a few weeks ago in Ham.
I mean, there were people working at their looms, and it didn't feel cooperative. I don't know. It just didn't feel like they were working on that. You can
Maybe
delete
we were just
all
there
of
at
this.
the wrong time.
Maybe.
You know. So we've done Helsinki Day. Looking back, because it's now a couple of days later, summing up of the event for you?
For me, really great day out. Nice opportunity to see places that we wouldn't have seen. Nice to meet people that we definitely wouldn't have met had we not gone out. I'm thinking of Arto and Outi, who sat with us. I have one comment on the mayor's speech. So he did it in Finnish and Swedish, and then there was like a signing translation happening simultaneously. It would have been nice. He could have either summarised really quickly in English, because the sign behind him was Finnish, Swedish, English. He could have summarised, like, today's our 476th birthday. We're going to hit 700,000 people this year. So much is happening. Get out and enjoy the capital of the world's happiest country. Helsinki, on one hand, they're trying to bring in an international workforce, and then on the other hand, we're just going to totally ignore the people. It could have 2 lines, 3 lines. It was an excellent day, and it was Helsinki City Festival was going on. It seemed to have been a good day or good festival as well.
I was at ODDfest.
You were at ODDfest, and we're going to get to your ODDfest shortly.
Yeah, they also had the Samba Carnival.
Yes. Summer in Helsinki, lots is happening.
Yeah.
Let's talk ODDfest.
All right, let's do ODDfest first. So, it's odd, and it's a festival.
How many ODDfests have there been in the past?
This is the second one. I was at the first for last year, and this was the second one. Slightly better organised in terms of times for bands to set up before they went on, but almost too much in the fact they'd given bands an hour to sound check. Well, I used to do it in 20 minutes. Band off, band on, job done. OK, they had to sound check as well, so maybe half an hour, but an hour between bands is a long time.
You risk losing the audience. OK, what's happening? And they sort of wander off.
You say that, but they had Tavastia and semi-final open.
Yep.
And you could walk between the two, so you didn't have to go outside, which was great on Saturday when it was horrendous rain.
Yes.
However, they had bands on both stages at the same time and then a big break where there was no music.
Oh.
It made no sense. You could have got more of an audience if people had been flowing between the two venues.
Yeah.
It was disconcerting at best, I would say, to say that there was maybe 50 people for the busiest gig I went to. And that's in Tavastia and the ODDfest. And they're huge spaces. There was an American artist playing in Vanha ODDfest who, I mean, she's got a couple of million listens on Spotify to her biggest tunes, and she was playing to 20 people.
Was it a case of too much happening on the same weekend? Crappy weather?
I think it could have been. I think the thing with ODDfest is there's a lot going on at the same time in different places.
Okay.
I mean, I went to a talk by somebody I'd met at Tallinn Music Week about sustainability in the music industry. There were films, there were lots more talks, there was art exhibitions, there was music, there was performance art, there was so much, because this festival kind of doesn't say no to anything. It wants to try everything, and to a certain degree I love that policy. What happened with one act, I was meant to see this Dutch act called Sarah Julia. They're sisters, and they're a folk duo.
Yep.
Who play with a full band, I think, but I don't know, because they were meant to play on Friday at 9 o'clock. So I arrived at the venue in plenty of time to see them, and they weren't on. They had moved it to Saturday.
Oh.
So, on Saturday, I got halfway through seeing an Italian electro-folk artist who I was on my list to see, missed half their set, dashed across to Vanha ODDfest again. This gig was supposed to be on the terrace, so I was a bit, this might not be outside, but hopefully they've found a space for them. I get there to find out they've moved the show an hour earlier to put it inside, and I'd missed it.
Oh, no.
And then when I told them, 10 minutes later they updated the schedule to say that they'd already played.
Oh, no. Oh, dear.
I had dashed across in the worst part of the rain to see them.
And they'd already been.
If I had known, I could have stuck with the Italian electro-folk guy, who was pretty good. So, a little frustrated, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I did see some weird stuff. They had an art exhibition in the foyer of the Biorex.
Right.
Which was called What Does the Art Smell Like?
Oh, okay, this is really cool, because... okay, tell.
Each of the art pieces was scented, so you could smell the art.
Was it easy to smell the art?
Actually, my favourite piece of artwork at the festival wasn't scented.
Okay.
I'll put that on the socials in the show poster, because that was 3 masks that were really nice. It was a bit like walking through the perfume section in Stockman's.
Oh, gross. Okay.
I mean, It wasn't quite as strong. It was more subtle smells, but because they were all in the same area, it was quite hefty. But yeah, I saw a whole bunch of bands. I saw this talk. I managed to, for my 80 Bands Around the World project, so for anyone who isn't aware of my other podcast, I'm doing a project called 80 Bands Around the World, where I'm trying to see 80 bands from different countries. So it went a bit wrong. I only managed 4 when there was meant to be 6.
Okay, but still.
But I've now got US, Ukraine, Brazil and Italy.
Excellent. Okay, who dropped off? The Netherlands?
Well, the Netherlands dropped off, and Chile, because I went there and it was the most bizarre performance art with a live drummer, and I was like, I don't think this actually counts.
Okay.
I mean, it was a trans performance artist from Chile who came on with a bottle of wine and a glass, demanded that the audience take away the empties that had been left on the front of the stage, pranced around the stage with their shiny phone, making sure that everybody in the audience was blind by bouncing the light off it into their eyes first.
Okay.
And then demanded that somebody go and get the bottle of wine open at the bar. And I was just like, I've had enough of this. There's a great band on downstairs. This was the Finnish band I particularly wanted to see and interviewed for my other podcast, which will come out on the 26th of this month. And I can't be bothered with this. It's not music enough.
It's ODDfest.
I know. I mean, I studied drama for 3 years. I do know what makes good art.
Now we're moving out of the music and into the more performance art side. So, yeah.
The point was, for me, it doesn't make for 80 bands around the world.
True.
It needs to be seeing some live music, and just having a live drummer and somebody next to him pressing buttons on a machine isn't live music enough for me.
Okay, that's fair.
I saw a band called Nazva, who are a Ukrainian pop folk rock band, maybe?
Okay.
Well, they had a drummer, piano player / singer, a flute player, a violin player, and a tenor sax player.
All right.
So a real mixture of sounds, and they were very upbeat and party and everything. And I was really enjoying it for about 3 songs, and then the 4th song sounded the same as well, and I was like, oh, okay. This is... I mean, they were good at what they did, really good at what they did. And obviously, what I found funny was I walked into the venue and I went, why are there soldiers here? But their sound engineer and lighting guy had come in their uniform, and they made a point of saying on stage, we're here for a couple of days in between fighting for our country.
Super.
It was a point that was made there, but it was weird walking into a venue like Tavastia to be greeted by 2 soldiers.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But overall, I do still like the concept of the festival. They just need to be a little bit better with their communication.
Update the schedule.
And they've got to try and get people to the gigs, because it's soul-destroying when you're a band who's come from another country to walk on stage to play to 6 people.
Yeah, true.
I would like to give a big shout-out to Banjo Co-Pilot, who was over from Brazil. This was his first ever show. He had 2 patches on him, which had all the buttons for his performance.
Okay.
So he was controlling the screen behind him, he was controlling the music, everything from these 2 keypads. And he was fascinating. Musically, he's a trained pianist, and he was a concert pianist over in Sao Paulo. But he dropped everything to do this experimental project. And it is experimental. There were times I was I'm not sure whether this is my thing, but again, this was a performance. He was singing, but it was a performance. He even paused at one stage to say, and now a note from our sponsors, and did the comedy moment where he did like a 30-second advert, but only in his native language, so virtually nobody could understand.
Cool.
But it was certainly interesting, and I've interviewed him for my other podcast as well, so that will come out in 2 days' time, so
fantastic.
That's worth checking as well. But yeah, Oddfest still needs some work, but the concept is fairly good. So, how about your weekend? You had a surprise birthday in Turku.
So we went to Turku for the weekend, or for one night actually. So I know I live in Helsinki, and I know the podcast is Cultural Hell, but seriously, Turku does summer maybe the best in Finland. You've got the river, and the river is a central point. And so it doesn't matter what side of the bank you're on. You can be on the south side or the north side. There is something happening. So I met up with a girlfriend on Friday night. We went out for dinner. During COVID times, every city did this sort of all the restaurants to a square, everyone can eat in a place together, but we're not together, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Helsinki, it was Senate Square, and over the years it has shrunk. Turku, they did it in front of the cathedral, and if anything, it has grown. So there's a eating area that's licensed, and then also the park is now a wine garden, so there's a heap of wine bars stretching through. There's security wandering through, collecting the glasses, live music. I mean, it helped that the weather was good.
I would like to say, though, I don't think it's shrunk in Helsinki. I think it's just distributed over different parks and areas.
True. Yeah.
Because when we went on our explore, and you were saying how the square...
Oh, Kasumaritori, yeah.
And that is now where the food festival, or the summer food terrace is. So I think it's just because Helsinki's so large, it doesn't make sense to put it all in one place. You've got to spread it across the city.
True.
So how was the surprise? Was she surprised?
She was very surprised. She was, oh my God, I haven't had a shower. Oh my God, I need to put my makeup on. Yeah, no, it went off without a hitch. She had no idea. So it was well executed. Yes, everyone,
Fantastic.
Nice surprise for her. So yeah, that was good.
Good.
And
Good.
I have discovered a new plant shop, it's in Torquay, but it's a really cool one. So she's an avid gardener, and her garden is, oh my God, it's just fantastic. She has the best rhubarb I've ever seen. The hint, if you want to buy a gift, that, something for the garden. So we went off and found Torquay's best garden shop and got her a gift voucher.
I thought you were going to say, and we bought her some fertiliser. Because that's the most expensive thing you can buy right now.
I could have done that, but I thought, no, I'll go the gift voucher. That's sort of, she can decide what she wants.
Yeah. And
then we drove back to Helsinki in the rain. So, yeah, that was fun.
Well, I was walking through it to go and see a band that weren't playing.
Mailarti's coming up. But in the meantime, we're going to head out and record Ullenlinna.
Yes, so we will make sure that your summer is still filled with the sound of our wonderful voices. And also in the next bonus episode, we'll be talking about my trip to Tuska, my first Tuska.
Yes, excellent.
So I may be wearing lots of black makeup and looking very angry, but happy inside.
Do you have black nail polish?
I can't stand the smell of nail polish. I get really bad migraines when anyone in the house puts on nail varnish.
Okay. Maybe just get some black Band-Aids.
Maybe I'll just go in light colours so I don't sweat to death. Although it's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be far too hot or raining the whole weekend.
Yeah, that's true.
There's never anything in between, is there?
And of course, Midsummer is coming this weekend. This
is true, yes. As we said, we'll be back next week with the Mailarti episode, and have a good week, everyone. Thanks, Heather.
Thanks, Dan.